Okay, so just a little different finish, okay? So rather than, we're gonna do some loaded mobilization, so you can do them. If you want to do some of them, holding a kettlebell and breathing and moving, be my guest, combine it with some of the other stuff I've shown you. But this is just something I quite like to finish a workout off with. I always find it really good. So what I would tend to do, I'll put a song on, right? And whatever song, I'd usually do random. Occasionally I pick something like Master of Puppets and it's like 7 minutes long, and then I make the class do it. And and I'd have a heavy kettlebell, and you can do it with a heavy kettlebell, you can do it with a light kettlebell. If you're doing heavier, do it shorter, unless you really want to push yourself. If you're doing lighter, do a bit longer. And all I would do is, it's like here, so we've done this movement, haven't we? And I just start putting all those movements that we've done, like throughout this, little kettlebell section, I just start doing them together. And I don't really think about sets and reps. I'm just doing them, and I'm just like, I start moving, I start flowing, I just start seeing what feels right. Okay, let's get a little step in, we start throwing that like we did earlier on. I might go to some pass rounds, and I'm just going, I'm just listening to my song. That's it. And I'm just chilling, and I might be like, oh, okay, I'll do a few of them, I'll do a few arm twists, and I just don't stop. And then I'm okay, let's have a swing, let's have a little squat, let's have a swing, let's have a little squat, we can do a little jump out, we can throw a little clean in, and it's literally just chaining everything we learn together, but being nice and relaxed as we do it, not thinking about it, not tensing up, not trying to go too fast, and just keeping going. And that's it. And just keep flowing. I can go to one arm, give myself a little break, and I'll just do a few on that arm, do that switch. I can go to doubles, I can bring it up, I can throw some other stuff in, I can add some squats in, I can get creative, I can throw a few presses in, I can add that little hold in. What was that then? A couple of minutes then probably, right? But I like to finish a workout like that, and that's what I do in the class. I'll just be like, right, it's not planned out, just let's do some single arm swings. It would usually be what we covered in that workout, and I just put it all together in a little flow. But like, we'll do 5 of these, 5 of that. I won't really think about it. I just go, right, let's do these. Okay, let's switch arms. Okay, let's throw the legs in. I get creative, and I just, one of the interesting things I found about it was my feet would kill after it, particularly if I did like a 5-minute one. Because my feet are just gripping, and I found it really, really beneficial for developing that sort of connection between the ground and the feet, which is how we're taking all the information. I've probably mentioned barefoot shoes at this point, but just think about it. Most shoes are foot shaped, and this thing is meant to be spreading, it's meant to be wide, it has all this sensory input in there, and that does that, it takes the information, it figures things out, right? And that's what it should be doing, right? But for a lot of us, it's bunched up, and it's not as effective. That leads to more stiffness in the ankle and the knee. Not saying there shouldn't be some stiffness in these places, sometimes you need it, but you need the capacity to move it, don't you? And rapidly contract and relax it, that's beneficial too, that efficient nervous system. But when it's like that, that's a lot more stable as well. It's a lot more stable. Think like walking in the snow. People put snowshoes on, don't they? The big wide things. So the wider that is, the wider your base, the more stable you are, the more solid you are. And then the nervous system calms down, all that tissue isn't all bunched up and tight, and you're able to produce and release and absorb force a lot more easily. That's why, and I like this, because I just found that it weren't an intended thing, it was just a side effect that happened. I was like, oh my God, they were hiking. It was really, really interesting. So I'd encourage you to do that, like in your socks or some mineralist shoes, just to give that foot a bit of a workout, because you you're maintaining position, but you're moving as you see, you're twisting. It's dead beneficial. Have a play around with it. It's a great way to finish it. If you want to do some loaded mobilizations after that, this is what I'd suggest, yeah? So I get into that position, I'd be here, and I'd hold, and then I might drop down. What I try and do is I drop my hips as far as I can, and then I lean a little bit, and then back up. I hold, lean, might hold for a few seconds, back up, boom, boom, boom. I got a little rock, I can add a little twist, I can hold again, go a bit wider, nice and simple. Probably the best way to finish it off, yeah. In fact, I'll do a vid on that as well. So if you stuck to the end, you've seen it, I'll do another little vid, who knows, I might ramble about something else.